Okay, here's a little update of fixings around the house and out back and in the garden area. So, um, I guess we can start in here. So this is the little mudroom. It's like one of those you can see across the way. Everybody's got one of these mudrooms that are just kind of attached. We put this pantry in recently. I think they just ordered it online, but it's nice to have the pantry space instead of making everything fit in the kitchen. So when you come out back, all right, here we go. So you come down the stairs, and this is that area that we had the concrete patio. Tore out the concrete. Somebody took it off Craigslist. We just soldered it or seeded it with grass seed a couple of weeks ago. Had a big rain that wiped a lot of it out, so redid a big chunk of it. Where Sam is currently walking around, that's where the garage used to be, and putting together sort of a lean-to shed, if you will, up against the fence to keep like stuff dry. Get over there in a second. And this is that brick patio that we built. Again, there was like concrete big block there, but Sam found this cool antique brick, so we installed that, made it kind of like the dining area. And so the idea is that'll be that, and then this area we can just have for lounging. These bulbs just came up. Pretty good looking too. I don't know what kind they are. And then this is the makings of the shed. We got the green door from the garage, and some poly top, it looks like. And then we're just cobbling together whatever good wood was left, stored inside the garage, and putting that all together. Let's see. We have way too many strawberry plants, which is not a terrible problem. So we have this table that used to be inside the garage, and we're using as kind of storage for the strawberries and like a planting area. And there's some more. I have some seed starts out here now that this area, basically the sun comes like this and goes straight up and over during summertime at least. Right now it's kind of angled over there instead of straight up. So we get more sun right here. So I have like kale. This is some kind of kale, and then there's tags on the outsides of these. Sylvetta arugula, and then red mustard greens. They're packed really tightly together, so they make good like baby greens, and they're really strong. But if you thin them out, they'll turn into like a big sort of like proper head of lettuce, if you will. So this circle here in the middle was already there with a perennial flower. Sam put in another one, and it's going to be like herbs and stuff right alongside it. We have reclaimed these two boards. This was bench inside the garage, and for right now, they're just kind of adding to this edge. I'm sure we'll like build it up. Long term, I think one of the ideas is to, maybe not on that little tree, but on this tree over here, do like a little bench that wraps around it, sort of, so that we can get more organics on top of the tree, and then have a place to sit that sort of, so you can kind of look out on the garden. That's sort of the idea. And then right next to the tree on both sides, we got berry bushes. We got, I think, red and white raspberries, blackberries, and is there another one, Sam? I think that's it. But anyway, so the way this works is you just get one of these things in the mail, and it's just a stick and some root that comes off kind of like an L, and you do your best to bury the root the direction you want it to go. So like maybe this just straight off this way, and it's just a stick, and then in a matter of, for this one, just a couple of days, you get a little bud out there, And then this is the beginning of your blackberry bush or whatever it is. And they're just very deep green. Like they very much, almost not fluorescent, but close. Like they really pop. So we're glad they're taking off, to say the least. This is the back bed, and it looks pretty busy because it is. There's a lot of leafy greens that have sort of taken off because they're cold friendly and they have a lot more sun right here than on the side yard. So like this is like mustard greens. Like you buy like little like baby versions of this like this in the store, but it's that they're just getting really kind of unwieldy. This is bok choy for stir fries. It does really well really early, and it's very pretty looking and really like rugged. Like you can almost make burger buns out of these leaves if you wanted to. And then there's a lot of miscellaneous stuff just kind of scattered, thrown in here. More mustard, spinach. It's like leafy lettuce. A lot of kale and arugula. This is what arugula looks like after it matures, and flowers and stuff. And it's really, it and mustard both are really spicy. Some more of that, I think that's Boston lettuce or Babe lettuce over there. And then a lot of radishes that come early, which is great. I tend to have a lot of kale salad, so it's nice to throw something kind of spicy in there to make it less benign or boring. A lot of arugula in there. I'll probably take most of it as baby stuff. And then this is where the most light comes in, basically the dead center of the bed. So that's probably where all the fruit, tomatoes, eggplant, peppers, all those sorts of things are going to go. Let's see. This is what's going to be head lettuce with this like very cool red, I don't know what you call that, coloring to it. I have one in the front, and it gets like 6x6x10 sort of big, like a romaine almost, but it's got this cool coloring to it. Same here. There's just like mesclun mix and a lot of different kales. This is tatsoi, similar to bok choy, same deal, just kind of grows a little differently. And there's a lot of stuff in here that eventually is going to come up. There's purple carrots in this vacant patch right there. There's onions. I don't know if you can see, we have scallions, white and red bulb. So all three varieties. The bulb onions take forever. It takes like a season and a half. So into next year, if we planted them right now. So we try to stagger them out. And I also like to plant them along like the side of the bed, because there's a lot of pests that hate onion. And so if you plant around the perimeter, they won't decide to go through. It's working a little bit, but these guys are really young. They need, especially those guys over there, I don't know if you can see them, but they need a while before they're significant, before they're like oniony and taste and texture. So that's the back bed. Also got a kale here to see what this is dinosaur kale. I wanted to see sort of how it does in full sun, because this is kind of the only spot. There's a lot of kale on the side garden, but it's only getting like 3 or 4 hours of direct every day, so just kind of wanted to experiment, see how big it would get. And I think the long-term plan is to sort of, in line with those bulbing flowers, just have a straight line of flowers kind of coming along down here, and then sunflowers sort of along the concrete pad, and then making a little trail to go around the shed and into the back so you can access the trash area. And okay, this is the kale patch, if you will. but there's other stuff in here too. So this is all that lacinato kale that I was talking about. Some of this is new. I started indoors in the winter time, and then sometime in February probably put it out here, which you can do. Some of it I must have planted it back in the fall, and it was pretty dormant over winter. You can kind of see these wooden posts sort of around it. I just had a piece of drape plastic, like 6 mil clear painter's plastic, that was acting like sort of a little baby greenhouse. And it got really hot in here, actually. Like, it would be freezing outside and 65 on the inside and really humid, which actually led to pest problems, so I had to cut back a bit. But moral of the story, they're doing okay, but they would be basically a lot bigger if they had, 13 hours of light of direct sun, which is where we're at right now. I think we're at 13 and a half hours a day. But they're only getting 4, maybe more. There is some glare off the neighbor's house and our house that helps them out. And also the soil here is really, really bad, like dense clay, like this. Like this is, it's like concrete hard. So you really have to go deep and put in a lot of compost and a lot of amendment for stuff to take off. So it's hard to make them do that. But some of this is really old. This arugula has been around for probably a year now, and that's why it got so stocky and flowered. But this is, you think about those like baby arugula that you buy at Trader Joe's, this is basically that. And there's a lot of weeding that I need to do. I recognize that. Let's see. This is a very sad, it looks sad. It's going to be okay. It's a kale that I pulled to make room in one of the beds and put in here. So it'll perk itself up. But next to it, this is matcha. This is the miner's lettuce stuff. And these shoots are new. So for the whole last fall and all over winter, I don't know if I have a strong example of it, but basically it stays without a shoot. It's like this bushy, like a lot of little leaves, really compact, right? And then in the spring when it warmed up, all of a sudden it put out these stems, and it looks like it's just about getting ready to flower. I don't know if you can, or if I can make the zoom work. Yeah, there it is. And it's really, really nutty. It's not like any nut, like peanut or walnut or anything, but you can tell, like, just one of the leaves in your mouth, it's really, really strong. So right now what I'm doing is taking these things, and all of that is same thing. I take them and simmer them in stir fries, and I start them early, like with the garlic at the beginning, and that breaks them up enough, and it gives like this really nutty flavor to it all. This is kale. This kale is really old. It's probably 2.5 years old, I would guess. It's been here since the beginning. And it keeps coming back, and it keeps flowering. And every time I let it go to seed, I replant a little bit of it, because, planting the seeds that grew where you're growing, the idea is hopefully they're more acclimated to the area that you're growing them. The one downside of these old kales is they're not very aphid resistant. I don't know if you can see, but yeah, that's a bad aphid infestation. So about every 2 or 3 days I come out here with a hose on jet spray and just blast them off. And that seems to do the trick. Let's see what else we got. Back in here there's some spinach coming up. And that's cauliflower, that purple stuff on the left, and I don't think that's going to make it. Again, the aphids are just really greedy about all the brassicas, like cauliflower and kales. And these are carrots that I think Sam transplanted these in, actually, and they're really taking off. We have a hard time with carrots here because, again, that hard clay rocky soil, they can't get down deep enough. So they tend to get really wide and kind of chewy. So we're intentionally trying to do carrots more in the raised beds so that they have more depth and can get, actually long, and stay softer, if you will. This is the front patio, and last year we did sunflowers along this part, and it's still, this is what it's looking at. The sun would come up technically straight up and over, but you still have to deal with the shadows from the neighbors, and then these trees. There's another one that you can't see back there. It's one of the giant ones in the neighborhood. And then immediately at like 1 p.m. the sun goes behind this, and they don't get anything. But they still do really, really well. And my head level is about at this top rail, and they usually, at least last year, the tops of the sunflowers would come and pop over, kind of hang out. This is like a patio couch, so you're like sitting there reading, and there's sunflowers with bees kind of over your melon. It's pretty nice. See if we can replicate that. And then right here, this fence post is basically that line where you're getting full sun. It's not blocked by the houses anymore, although there's a lot of trees. So what we did was put more of those bushes. That's what those twigs are, and all that, like those bright green leaves. Those are going to be, again, the raspberries and blackberry bushes. And then I'm trying to do like beans and the like that need support in between, because the first couple, at least the first year with the bushes, they don't really mind competition, but then after that they can get really sensitive, and you got to really mulch so that they're the only things growing nearby. But for this year, they're not going to get big, and they're not going to get really bushy just in one season. So the idea is to grow a lot of beans up next to them and have them run in this fence. This is in front of the patio, and it is the strawberry patch. And as you can see, they're all standing up about 8 to 12 inches off the ground, these leaves, and the flowers come in right below them. And these flowers actually become a strawberry. Let me see if I can find one that's starting to, I think they're all a little young. But these popped not too long ago. Soil here is really terrible, but they go wide, not deep, so it's okay. And that is a tree. I don't want that here. So excuse me while I weed this out. Okay. Yeah, and then you got herbs. I forget which ones these are, but I know that there's a curry and a rosemary and something else back in there. So this is their second season, so they all should fruit, whereas the first year we put in something like half of them were second year, so they gave us fruit, and the other half, all that stuff, was first year, and they need an extra season for that. And then last year we grew tomatoes, and right there. This is the front raised bed. I just put this in. The idea is this board is a walkway, so we can get to both beds, and then this had a natural slope to it, so we're just capping the end of that. We're going to fill it and then put stuff that doesn't mind bad soil, because that's a lot of clay, like zucchinis, and put those in there and have enough room to walk around and work on this bed. This bed is mainly, let's see, so you got your yellow flowers, that's kale, still kale. That's all garlic. And this is all garlic. And garlic is another one of those things like onions. You run it for about a season and a half. So these have been in the ground for a long time. They went over the winter, and we'll probably be able to pull them up in about late June, optimistically, and braid them and dry them inside. Got more carrots and miscellaneous stuff. And then here's the onions. They're about to pop their flowers. Which are really pretty. I'm not able to focus this guy. There we go. These are just scallions that we get too big, and if you let them get really big, the bulb will start to grow, but they're not bulb onions, so they're not supposed to do that. And then more arugula. and miscellaneous, like true scallions, like this guy. The flowers are really tasty if you don't let them pop. Okay, so there's front patio again for orientation. We have these 2 buffers along the sidewalk here, and these are like orange flowers that pop kind of at no predetermined frequency. Some of them are blue, some of them are purple, some of them are orange. The blues and purples already have come and gone, so I'm assuming the orange are next. There's some more on that side. We plant some more bushes. 1, 2, 3. That guy's doing really well. And then up front along the sidewalk, these are blueberries. So there's 1, 2. And then some more of these I think this is blackberry from Sam's father's house. So it came a long way to be here. And I'm doing some more beans in between for this first year and run them up this fence to get a lot of sun. Let's see. This is a gum tree. I'm not sure if it's going to make it. It came through last summer, but I haven't seen any buds this year, so it might be for naught, but we'll see. So yeah, that's kind of the update. We got some cat grass for Linus to roll around in. A nice menacing cactus to greet the mailman every morning. But yeah, so far so good.